All right, so today we're jumping into, well, a really, really big one. This is one of philosophy's oldest, most brain-twisting puzzles, the search for the perfect way to sort everything. It's a challenge that has honestly stumped some of the greatest minds in history.
Okay, let me ask you this. Imagine I gave you the ultimate job. I want you to create a filing system for the entire universe, every single thing in it, every object, every idea, every quality. Where would you even start? It sounds impossible, right? Well, that is the exact problem we're diving into.
So, in the world of philosophy, these big universal folders, they have a name. They're called categories. And the goal, the dream, is to find the perfect set of boxes, the most fundamental ones, right? The ones that can hold everything in reality. And, this is key, nothing overlaps. Every item has one perfect home. Sounds neat, huh? Well, as you're about to see, it is anything but simple.
And that brings us right to our first huge problem. Challenge number 1, the method maze. Because you'd think the first step is to start sorting, right? Nope. Philosophers can't even agree on how to begin. They're stuck at the starting line, arguing about the right way to even find these categories.
I mean, check this out. You have two of the biggest names in the game. On one hand, you got Aristotle. His approach was to look out at the world. He listened to the questions we ask about things. Simple stuff like, what is it? How big is it? Where is it? But then, centuries later, you get Immanuel Kant. He does the complete opposite. He looks inward. He argued that these categories aren't out there in the world. They're actually baked into the structure of our own minds. I mean, think about that. Two absolute giants of philosophy, and they're starting from completely opposite ends.
And right away, you can probably see the cracks, right? Both of these ideas, as brilliant as they are, feel a little wobbly. Like for Aristotle, how do we know for sure he thought of every single possible question you could ask? That seems unlikely. And for Kant, how can we be 100% certain his list of mental judgments is the final, complete list? It feels like no matter which method you pick, there's always this nagging doubt that you missed something.
Okay, so if the starting methods are a mess, what do you think happens to the results? Yep, you guessed it. That brings us to challenge number 2, the number game. Because predictably, if nobody can agree on how to do the sorting, the final counts are, well, they're all over the map.
So this is the big question. If you ask the greatest thinkers in history for the final count, the total number of reality's filing folders, the answers you get back are just wild.
Aristotle, the guy who basically kicked this whole thing off, he landed on 10.
Kant, with his inward-looking approach, came up with 12. Fast forward a bit, the philosopher, Reinhard Grossman, he argued there are 8.
And then you've got a more modern thinker, E.J. Lowe, who boils it all the way down to just 4. So let's see, we've got 10, 12, 8, 4. I mean, there's no trend here, no getting closer to an answer. It's just chaos. Just look at this. There is absolutely no consensus. 0. This isn't like in science, where over the centuries we get closer and closer to a single precise number. Nope. In this philosophical game, the number of fundamental categories just keeps bouncing around. It's kind of nuts. And all of this total mess, leads us to the biggest, deepest problem of all. Challenge number 3, the agreement crisis. And look, this isn't just philosophers having a small debate over a couple of details. This is a problem so big, it makes you question whether the entire project is even possible. And here's the real kicker. The disagreement itself is the evidence. The fact that all these brilliant minds over thousands of years have come up with such wildly different systems, well, it's a pretty powerful argument that maybe, just maybe, there isn't a single, true, complete system out there to be found.
And this isn't just some dusty academic debate, This complete failure to agree pushes us into some really skeptical territory. It makes us ask, what are we even doing when we try to put the world into boxes?
It really makes you wonder, right? Are these categories real things out there in the universe? Or are they just convenient labels we made up to keep things organized in our heads? Maybe these grand philosophical systems just reflect the personal biases of the thinker or the culture they lived in. I mean, if you have 4 different maps of reality from 4 brilliant people, is there any objective test you could run to prove one is the real map and the others are fakes? It doesn't seem like it. So, okay, at this point, you're probably thinking, why bother, right?
If the methods are flawed, the answers are a total mess, and nobody can agree on anything, why would anyone waste their time on this seemingly impossible puzzle?
And that's a great question. But maybe we've been looking at it the wrong way. Maybe the point isn't to find the final answer. Maybe the real value is in the struggle, in the attempt. Because trying to build a system like this is one of the best mental workouts for clear, deep, systematic thinking that you can possibly do. Think about it. When you try to solve this puzzle, it forces you to question everything you take for granted about reality. It gives you a kind of mental blueprint for how to build a solid, logical argument. But maybe the coolest part is that it's like holding up a mirror to your own mind. You get to see the hidden wiring, the underlying structures we all use to make sense of this crazy, complicated universe.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought. On the surface, this whole thing looks like a weird, abstract sorting problem. But it's so much more than that. It really boils down to this. If we, as humans, can't even agree on the basic boxes we use to organize reality, what chance do we have of ever agreeing on what's real?